Welcome back, everyone, to the Roman Show, and all the way from the UK, we have Megan of the band Vexed. Their latest, or their new album, their debut album, Culling Culture, drops on May 21st. You can get a sneak peek. Some of their singles are already available, including Misery. You can check it out on your favorite streaming service, and you can check out also the video available on YouTube. In fact, if you go to theromanshow.com, we'll have it right there and then, so you can see it for yourself. So, Megan, thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, congratulations. You're signed to Napalm Records. It's a very well-known record group. And now with Culling Culture dropping on May 21st, it's your debut album. How do you guys feel about this? I almost feel as nerves, right? It's almost kind of like when a player or a fighter is going out for a fight, the nerves to find out what reaction they're gonna get for maybe will be the first time they hear of you, and then they get to scope out all of your work. So what's going on with you guys mentally? How are you guys feeling with the debut coming out on in just a few days?
We're mixed feelings, but all in a positive way. We're so excited, but we're also, quite nervous. It's been such a long time coming, going from being just an independent band that had only released 2 songs to suddenly being taken on by Napalm and releasing our debut. They're worlds apart. And so it's quite scary, but it's also incredibly exciting. And we're just really looking forward to people hearing it and hopefully people enjoying it.
Now, I'm sure that prior to that, like you mentioned, there's a couple of singles, being an indie band, and now you got a full-length album. There were some struggles along the way. Can you, or challenges along, did you face any challenges or struggles to finally get to where you are right now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, before even Vexed was a thing, we were all friends in different bands, and we'd spent well over a decade in those bands trying to make them work, and nothing was happening. And it just kind of felt like we were all so desperate to kind of find our feet and find our rhythm in the music scene, and it just wasn't working. And then suddenly with Vexed, it was kind of like all systems go, everything happened really fast. So it was like over a decade of a lot of struggling and a lot of pain. And then as soon as Vexed kind of happened, it all clicked and fell into place.
Well, ironically, this album, Culling the Culture, as mentioned here in some of the press releases, it's a tribute to hate and of what we're experiencing, especially here in the States with this cancel culture, and you can't say this or you can't say that, or everything you say is walking on eggshells. But the writing, did this happen during the whole pandemic, prior to the pandemic? When did it all get started mixing in, molding this album?
So, it was actually written and recorded before the pandemic. But in a really weird way, it's almost as if it was meant to come out at this time. Because even though we wrote it before the pandemic, and we were supposed to release it quite a long time ago, I feel like it has aged better being released in a pandemic. Because for some weird reason, the songs kind of relate to it. And it's really strange seeing that happen. So, we wrote the album. Some of the songs are a couple of years old now. So we wrote it quite a long time ago and recorded it, I think, finished recording it a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we've been sitting on it for a while, which means we're even more excited and desperate for people to hear it. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and kudos on the videos. I'm a really big fan of the Misery one, where you go into the church and you have the whole confession going on, and you're talking to yourself. You're confessing to yourself.
Yes.
So tell me about that. And the word misery, is this something personal on your end, or you're elaborating this to someone or something? How did that all come about?
So the song Misery is about living with anxiety, mental health anxiety, and the theme of the album is nearly every song is dedicated to a different person that we've kind of gotten rid of and culled out of our lives, so to speak. And then Misery is kind of what I was going through whilst those people were causing me that pain. So anxiety and depression, blah, blah, blah. And trying to make music videos in general is always really difficult, but trying to make music videos in the height of a lockdown, worldwide pandemic is almost impossible. So I grew up in a Christian household. I still am a Christian. And so when we were trying to think of ideas and concepts of how to make a music video based around anxiety, I was thinking about like the concept of confession and how much I hate doing it. Sorry. But I thought, that could work really well. And fighting with your inner demons in a confession box seemed quite a good way of summing up what anxiety is like.
So that's an interesting point. You mentioned that you're Christian, but do you still follow Christianity, or you kind of put that aside?
Yeah, I do. I still follow it, but I don't really talk about it. I believe that faith is personal and should just kind of not be forced upon others. You know, other people don't need to know about it unless they ask. So yeah, Vexed is definitely not a Christian band. The boys are not of faith. Right. But it is important to me. Yeah, but right. I do keep it quite personal.
And it's interesting to know that, for example, my uncle, he's a priest. God forbid that I play heavy metal music next to him, you know. But so you know, so are your parents very religious as well, or?
Yeah, so my mum is very religious and my grandparent is. My great uncle actually is a priest. So our family we've always been brought up Christian. But my siblings, my brother, for example, is an atheist, and we have the best conversations because, you know, it's really healthy to talk about that sort of stuff.
Correct.
So yeah, there's a wide spectrum in the family of believers and non-believers, but we love each other regardless of that.
But where I'm going with this, when you look at a video as such, as Misery with a confession, and if the family is very religious, you know, have they seen it? What was their reaction? Or did they take it as art? Because I'll tell you, I remember I was in Japan, and over there in Japan, they look at, you know, like a Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ. They look at it as we look at Buddhas, right? Where we Buddhas in the Western Hemisphere is aesthetics. You put it in a garden, you know, you make a fountain out of it. You know what I mean? So that's the same thing they do over there, but with with a Jesus Christ. So
yeah.
So did your family look at the video as an art, or did they say, "Hey Megan, whoa, it's a little touchy there what you did with your creativity"?
So I spoke to them before I did it because I'm very open and I don't mind using my faith in an artistic way, because I believe that, you know, you should be able to do that sort of thing without doing anything incredibly offensive, of course, but you should be able to interpret your art into that kind of area if that's something you want to do. So I spoke to them about it, and they weren't fussed at all. They thought it was quite funny that I'd spent most of the day throwing up fake blood, and they just thought it was really cool, bless them. So yeah, they're really accepting of that sort of thing. They're not really like a strictly religious family, but obviously there's some things they wanted me not to do, but I wouldn't have even considered doing them in the first place. But when it comes to making music videos and doing art, if anything like that is referenced in, I do try and keep it subtle, because like I said, Vexed is not a Christian band, but because I'm a Christian, sometimes things will come into it, and we keep it subtle and as lighthearted as possible, and no one's been offended yet, so that's a good thing. Good
stuff. Yeah, I mean, Lazarus, I mean, that's the name of the Bible, right? And that's one of the tracks in Culling Culture. Now, touring, we over here in the States, there's some states already that are allowing festivals. What about you guys? Do you guys plan on going on tour this year or next year? What are you guys looking into so far?
So we're desperate to do live shows. That's literally the reason why we do this. Live shows is our favourite thing. But in the UK, everything is still really difficult. We've just started coming out of our lockdown period. So we're hoping by the end of this year we'll be able to tour the UK. And then as of next year, we'll literally go wherever we're allowed to go. But nothing's set in stone at the moment, because our booking agent is really lovely, and they kind of have said to us that they don't want us to have something booked and then a week later it has to be cancelled. They'd rather book something that we know we're going to be able to play. So unfortunately nothing is set in stone yet, but hopefully by the end of this year we'll have a UK headlining tour.
Yeah, I've heard of you guys. Didn't it just right now recently? I think your prime minister just said, "Hey, it's okay to hug," or something like that.
Yeah, or as of the 17th, we're allowed to hug.
Right, right. It's just, yeah, well, it is what it is. So, out of these tracks, which ones are you really looking forward to performing live that you think that the fans are just gonna go buck wild?
I'm looking forward to playing Narcissist live. It's so different to the songs we've released so far. It's incredibly vocally, it's really difficult, and it's like almost like rapping. So it's going to be really interesting to see how people interpret that and what they do in the mosh pit, because it's incredibly heavy. But I'm also looking forward to doing some of the more sort of anthem-y type songs like Aurora. Definitely would be amazing to hear people singing along to that. But yeah, I'm a sucker for heavy songs and mosh pits, so I'm looking forward to Narcissist for sure.
I hope we all are. We're all itching for it, and it's just a matter of time till things somehow start coming back into normal. We can get in the mosh pit, and we all feared these pods, right? Where they were gonna have it as in pods. Hopefully that just doesn't happen, and we can go back to enjoying heavy metal shows, being in the pit or whatnot. So, Megan, I want to thank you. And you guys have any plans on doing any live streams in the meantime, by any chance?
Yes, definitely. That's kind of the next step in our campaign. So we've been so focused on getting the music videos out that we've kind of been putting that off until you have nothing else to focus on. So now that we've just filmed our last music video, we're going to focus on getting a live stream out as soon as possible.
Well, Megan, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it, and hopefully very soon we'll see you guys on stage. I know you guys are going to tour the UK first, but somehow, some way, put the States in there. We'd love to have you down here as well.
Thank you. Yeah, It's been my pleasure, and I would love to get out to the States at some point. That would be a dream come true.
Awesome. I'm sure it's very, very close. Megan, thanks so much, and stay safe, and we'll hear you soon. And again, everyone, check out the album May 21st. Make sure you head on over to your favorite streaming service, Culling Culture. You can follow the band, Vexed, and they'll give you a notification when it drops. And you can check out some of the singles available right now on the streaming services and also on YouTube. Thanks so much, Megan. Talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty. Cheers. Bye-bye.